played mobsters, secret agents, even supervillains, but now Mark Strong is picking up the scalpel once again and putting on his scrubs for the return of the hit Sky drama Temple.
He'll be telling us more next, but first, let's take a look at what we can expect from Temple Series 2.
Oh, Mark joins us now. What a pleasure to have you on the sofa, Mark.
Well, it's lovely to be
So good.
So, first series of Temple was a huge success. Where does Series 2 pick up? Because it's based originally on a Norwegian drama, isn't it? But that only lasted one series, so now I guess you can do whatever you like with this.
Yeah, they never got a second series, so we could give free rein to our imagination.
You can just do whatever you want now.
Yeah, we took all the best bits of Series 1 and turned it all up to 11. So all that dark comedy, all of the kind of characters, we just took them to the next level.
So fill us in on the story from scratch. If people are watching this saying, oh, I didn't see Series 1, I want to get it on catch.
Yeah, and how do you got the rights and everything? I want to know that.
I was sitting on the sofa with my wife, Liza Marshall, who's a producer. She was making shows, I was in shows, and we decided that we should maybe work together. And we were watching this Norwegian show and decided to get on a plane and go over and see if they'd sold the rights to anyone. And we managed to get in just before the Americans adapted it.
They were kicking themselves?
They were kicking themselves, but, you know, we got the first season up and running. And this new season begins exactly where the last one ends. There's a massive cliffhanger. I'd urge people, it's still on a box set, the first season.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need to watch the first season to see the second one, but it would be great if you did, if people did. And literally, there's a cataclysmic event at the end of the first season, and we pick straight up on the second season, which is basically my wife, who I've been trying to keep alive for God knows how long, wakes up. Yeah.
So the story is that you're a surgeon, Dr. Daniel Milton, and your wife's told that there's nothing we can do for her. So you then essentially take her underground,
yeah,
and you try and fund her recovery and the research to her, to her illness by helping out murderers and liars and cutthroats and ne'er-do-wells.
I get into an unholy alliance with a character called Lee, played by Danny Mays, who has this underground space underneath Temple Tube Station. And in return for the space, to keep my wife, I do some illegal surgery that we can make a bit of money and kind of pay him rent with it.
Yeah.
And then that relation develops over the series and takes off in Series 2.
And where did the name Temple come from? Did you just look at a tube map and think, you know what, I'll go for Temple, that's what it's going to be called?
That's exactly what I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, yeah, because the first, the Norwegian one is called Valkyrian, which is a tube stop.
Yeah.
So I had to kind of look at the map and find a really good
What
name.
was appealing to you? You didn't think Bond Street?
Well, no, Bond Street wouldn't cut it. Hainault, no disrespect to people who live in Hainault, but you know what I mean? It was quite difficult, actually, finding something. And then we realised Temple was right on the river and looked great, so went with that.
Well, there's something about Temple, isn't there? Like,
yeah, it looks great as a title.
To it.
It really does.
Yeah.
And you've been upgraded now. You are now a producer. How are you coping?
OK. I mean, as an actor, you're protected from all that stuff, you know, the scaffolding that's needed to make a show. You just come on and you do your thing. Now I know when we're running late, whether a particular actor is available, whether a location has fallen through, and all that.
Is it the sort of thing that sounds great before you do it, and then when you're in the eye of the storm and thinking, actually, just being an actor is really quite cool?
Yeah, it's much more peaceful.
So what about Dr. Daniel? Is he to be trusted? Because there's something about him, isn't there?
That's what's really interesting about the character, and I think the series, and it's why I wanted to make it and why I like it, is you're never really sure where you are with him. I mean, he's a good guy, he's a regular guy, he's a kind of everyman, but he's got all of these problems that he has to deal with and cope with, and it's watching somebody spin those plates and deal with them when they come crashing down. So sometimes he's good, sometimes he's not. He crosses the moral Rubicon, and you have to decide whether you're going to go with him as a viewer.
So that must be so exciting about Series 2, in that you've got that blank canvas. And so when you have that blank canvas for the second series and going on, are you already thinking, with your producer's head on, well, where do we take this over, without tempting fate for future series, where do we take this? Like, how far does this narrative arc go in terms of it's all these things that you guys can create now?
Well, we're so used to TV now, aren't we? Because so much of it got watched during the pandemic when we were in lockdown, and TV is coming back series after series, and TV eats plot. You know, you have to come up with narrative, you have to entertain people. And with the second season, what we were fortunate enough to do was, because we were voted one of the top 20 shows by the New York Times.
Great.
You know, we got a second season out of it and took everything that was good about the first one, cherry-picked it, and basically put it all into the second season. The dark humour, the kind of fascinating characters, the world that they live in, the kind of betrayal of Daniel, his wife, his daughter, all those relationships are incredibly complicated, and so there's a kind of soapy element that keeps you interested, but it's a really classily made drama, which is kind of...
And you made it under a... Was it Aldwych tube station you did it?
We used Aldwych, which is a disused tube station, and you can go down into the tunnels. And we had to literally carry the equipment up and down those stairs because the lifts don't work.
Did you get involved carrying it up?
Yeah, we all did. We all mucked in and we all got down
It's a family affair, though, as well. Obviously, your wife works on it, Liza, and she's incredibly driven because she was actually one of the first people to get a production back on track when COVID struck.
Yeah.
She got everyone back to work, which was lovely because no one was working, were they?
No, she worked really hard on that because we were due to film April. March 23rd, lockdown happened, and we had no idea whether the series would happen at all. So she had to kind of go to the drawing board and work out these protocols that we could put in place that we're now all familiar with, you know, masks, sanitizer, testing, all of that a film set now uses in order to enable people to go back to work. And people were really grateful to get back to work because people needed to work and needed the money.
And also, we've got to talk about the fact that I know you like villain roles, but you missed out on James Bond, a part in James Bond, and it was all due to that Daniel Craig, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was all his fault. I blame him.
Drunk? What happened?
He didn't get me drunk. I mean, to be fair, we did.
I did it myself.
Yeah, you're an adult.
Yeah, exactly. I could make my own choices. We did a show together called Our Friends in the North, so we were friends. And yeah, I had an audition for a Bond villain one day, and we were living together at the time, so we were pals. And I'd learnt my lines, I'd done all my preparation, and I thought, let's go out and celebrate. And I just overdid it. And the next day, I was just too hungover to do it properly.
Did you wake up late? That's what we've been
that
talking
awful
about.
fog when you're hungover is terrible, isn't it?
That's what we've been talking about, being late and not waking up and stuff like that. I mean, he's actually godfather to your eldest son, isn't he?
He is.
What did you think of him in the last Bond?
I thought he was magnificent.
Me too.
I thought it was really great. It was a real fitting kind of end to those 5 films that he's done.
It's unbelievable, actually.
Yeah. And he was sort of incredibly centred, I thought, more than... Because he didn't have to be 007. I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it.
Yeah.
There's something really emotional about it as well.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're in one of my favourite films of the last couple of years, in 1917. I mean, it's just so beautiful and sweeping, epic, the Sam Mendes film. What was it like to be part of that?
It was amazing. I mean, it was a really interesting story to make and a real tribute to, you know, the guys who were very young and had to fight in that war. And we all had, apart from the 2 main boys who carry the whole film and the camera just follows them. That's the thing about it, it's all one shot. So you follow them all the way through the movie. We came in, me and Benedict Cumberbatch and Colin Firth. We had
Danny Mays was in it, wasn't he? Yeah.
Danny Mays was in it as well, yeah. We had little parts that they sort of meet us on the way of their journey. But it was a really absorbing film and incredibly moving.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you want to talk about that film. I just want to talk about Cruella. Is it coming back?
Cruella, I think, is coming back.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. I think they had a lot of success with the first one. So
it was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Amazing costumes, I
know.
And music, yeah.
We're very excited about this. Temple Series 2 starts next Thursday, 9 p.m. on Sky Max. Can't wait for
and you
that.
can get the Series 1 on catch-up as well.
Yes.
Thanks, Mark.
It's a pleasure.
you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.